clinical offense, taking the easy options.
So it works out for Germany to start things off. As we said before, they're the bit of the favorites here, having a great tournament so far. Find out more about their road soon enough. Right now we'll get our first look at the Irish offensive line. Just finished off a game on this broadcast of the Irish men's team playing against your hometown heroes, the Czech men. Can you talk a bit about what happened there?
Well, our lads, as the Irish would say, just went up early, and that was it. That was the end of the game. They kept the score high and didn't generate any problems for themselves, and basically just took the quarterfinal easy. I mean, they got to the quarterfinal easily.
Cormac now with the disc as the Germans come out in a match defense, opting for a different option than the Irish as a pick is called downfield.
Germany coming out on a person defense, trying to stay in between the disc and the cutter.
Ireland, a nation focusing a bit more on their single gender team so far. Here's a huck, goes up. Is it going to be tracked down by number 99? She's a bit too far away. That's Dorian Muyenetdun. With that disc just floating a bit too far out of her reach.
Great look there. She did have separation in the end zone, but the disc was sort of had a rotation that was a little too difficult to read.
So Germany with their first chance to break in this game. Started off with the clean holds. Ireland coming out in match defense. Big hammer, easily collected by Wallace. A lot of noise from the sidelines here, but Germany calm with their offensive attack so far. Wallace wide open, but not spotted by Saskia Neubert. Eventually she moves it up. Back to Neubert. And I think Neubert will concede that that was a out of bounds catch. And Ireland will get another chance for a hold. Keith Myrna now with the disc. One of the best players on this Irish side. A bit of a worry as to whether or not he'd be able to play this tournament as he was a bit injured coming in. There, the pass just a bit too far for Shane Keenan. Now Dotson swings it to Ronja Wosteinrich. There's a big shot. It's going to be bodies underneath. And Germany comes down with it. Take a bow, Tom Druscher with that catch.
And a first break of the game. Germany not taking, again, the easy options. Waiting for the opportunity to open. And even though the last pass was sort of 50-50, it was read perfectly and completed by the German player.
Do you happen to know if these two teams ever met up earlier on in this season?
Yes, Ravi, they have. And this was in at Windmill. Germany beat Ireland there 10-6. I'm not sure if the squats were exactly the same as here, or if there have been some last-minute additions or subtractions.
A lot of teams dealing with injuries here. One comment we were talking about on one stream is, how many out of the 50-plus teams do you think are without a single injury at this stage of the tournament?
That's right.
Think it's above 10, or do you think it's below 10?
Well, I wouldn't make that bet, but one thing that struck me the most playing against German women's team yesterday was that for the national team, the selection was made out of 100 and about 35 players or something.
So they have players to spare in case they have some injuries coming down as Ireland look to clean things up. A big swing collected, and we get the disc over to big shot now. It's going to be bodies underneath. Can she come down with it? It's going to be too far. Again, Ireland not connecting on their deep shots so far this game. Germany now to collect. Start things off here is Daniel Mutz.
The wind has picked up a little bit, so probably not the worst option.
It's a bit right to left here. The wind on pitch 2 swirling and changing throughout the days, as we've seen all throughout this week. The only artificial field, very exposed to the wind. Inka Schnutz now. Gets it up to Mutz. Mutz puts up a big shot. And that's another goal as Ida Duman collects Mutz's pass. 3-0 for the Germans.
So Germany in their pool play has only lost to Russia by 3 points. But then Denmark happened to beat Russia in the longest game probably of this tournament by 5 points. And then Germany took the first spot in the pool by beating Denmark 15-6. So 9 points to take the first spot in the pool.
That got them to power pools. I was talking to Schwer Stutz and told him all you had to do there was not lose by more than 7. And they lost by 9. That kicked them out of the power pool ranking. Denmark ended up moving through their lower pool.
After beating Russia.
After beating Russia by 5 in a very, very hotly contested game with a long spare timeout. And they told me that they were, that night, super amped up, super energized. They couldn't fall asleep, and that probably gave them a lot of problems playing Germany in the morning the next day. And yeah, Denmark worked up through the lower pools and ended up matching up with Switzerland on the stream earlier today. 15-13, the Danes did win that, so they are in the top 8 playing.
Wow.
We'll try and get the scores up here on Ultimate Central so we can keep you guys informed of how all the different quarterfinal matchups are going. I think 2 of the mixed quarterfinals are happening now and 2 are happening next round. So we'll see if we can figure out here what's going on around the fields. I'll pull things up.
My last news was also the game between Russia and Belgium, which was supposed to...
In the men's division.
Was that men's? I'm
yes,
sorry.
that was men's, but did you hear what how that finished up?
Well, no. We just know it was a universe point.
Oh, okay.
Never got the last news.
That was the pre-quarter in the men's division. I think a lot of people were favoring Russia there. So we'll have to figure out.
But way to go for Belgium to take them to universe.
Yeah, Belgium, a country who's a bit weaker this year as they have an under-24 team, and those under-24 players are not allowed to play on the senior national team. They will have a much better game, much better team next year. So we'll see if they were able to beat Russia. That would be quite an upset, as Russia had a great start to this tournament. So now the Irish kick things off. Lots of movement now as we see Chu with the disc, one of the better people with the disc on this Irish mixed side. 21, Kunla Agbaja with the disc now.
I was wondering.
So which team had that? Ireland just went out on the field with 8 people. Cheeky strategy, the Irish trying to do everything they can. That's going to be a repull. I have not seen that yet this tournament, Rachel. I've seen a lot of stuff.
I didn't realize this could happen at European Championships.
Did they have 4 men and 4 women, or 5 of one of them? I'm curious.
Or is Germany just seeing double? Well, anyway, let's try this again. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ultimate Frisbee, a game played 7-on-7 when played on grass. We have yet to try out the alternative of playing 8-on-8.
Some people saying that mix should do that, to either go to 8-on-8 or 6-on-6, so we can
Correct.
just keep the gender
Australian Professional League playing 6-on-6.
We'll talk more about your opinions on that maybe later on the stream. Right now, Ireland trying to get their first hold as Germany up 3-0. with the hold and 2 breaks of their own. That throw is going to be overthrown, and looks like Ireland couldn't quite do it as well with only 7 on the field. And that's going to be collected by Tom Droscher, who puts up a big shot to Justin Wallace for another goal.
But
so what is
travel call? Travel. The
will
disc will go back.
bring this disc back. So it's 3-0 still. Droscher.
Droscher already with 1 assist in the game.
He puts up the blade again from Wallace. This one's going to be too short.
Not the most conservative throw from a German team.
Agbaje getting his body in the way. Not sure he needed to be there, but made sure of the D for the Irish, and now they'll get another shot. Wind picking up. Irish going a bit upwind right now, but Ireland's a very windy country. They should be used to it. Swung across to Agbaje. He has to go to ground to get it, but still collects. Inside shot to Aidan Kelly.
Nice.
Aidan Kelly fakes the deep one. And there finds the inside break. That one's going to hang. And Chu's going to get down to ground, but not able to hold that one inbounds. Germany with a chance to go up 4-0 again.
The wind is pretty strong right now, definitely stronger than in the previous game, where hammers were floating all around. We've already seen one in this game. I'm wondering if we're gonna see more of these impressive, showy shots.
Wallace now at the inside shot. That's gonna be a goal with the 2 German ladies connecting. That's Gerlinde Uch with the throw.
Germany
I think
using
that's Saskia Neubert for the goal.
Germany using their women quite a bit in this game so far. At that one point that got stopped because of that out call, it just seemed like, you know, only women were getting the disc and throwing it to each other. Great to see that. Great to see the mixed team engaging their female players as well. Ireland is trying quite hard to employ their female cutters too. Unfortunately, so far they have not been winning the matchups, or just their throwers couldn't hit them in the right spots. Moving on to power pools though, Germany also lost a game in power pool, and that was against France by 1. So France is definitely a hot contender for the top seeds here at this tournament, and suffering a loss to those guys.
We did see Germany also play against France in the semifinals of Windmill. They lost by 2 there.
That's right.
Lost by 1 now. So maybe if they meet each other in the final, now's the time to flip the switch. We'll see how things go later on in the bracket, but right now we're stuck here in quarter-finals. Germany up 4-0 in a commanding lead against the Irish. We actually, when we were deciding which quarterfinals to stream, we thought this was going to be Germany-Italy, and Italy were playing really hot. We thought that would be a great matchup, but Ireland upsetting Italians and also changing up our schedule a little bit, but good on them for that. The green shirts keep things moving against this German match defense. A bit better flow here from the Irish, looking more confident. But another missed throw from the Irish. They're just not consistent here on offense.
Well, Germany is very, very tight all over the field, not just taking away the undercuts, but also taking away the resets. Ireland having to work really, really hard. And also, under this sun, it's also about the numbers of players, the depth of your roster. It's basically who can last longer in the heat.
Sebastian Spiegel puts up a big shot. There's going to be a woman underneath it, but the 84 shirts of Andreas Rosen reels that one in from Spiegel. 1-shot score. Germany make it 5-0. So yeah, we were talking a bit about that Australian mixed decision in their professional league to go 6-6s, 3-3. You're a woman, pretty interested in gender equity issues. I hear your voice often talking about these things. What do you think? You play the mixed division. Do you think we should change that in the WIFTIF level? Should we go to 6-6, 8-8, or?
I mean, we're going to get less people that get to play, right? I have to say, I played EBUC this year, and I've really enjoyed trying out the different gender rules.
Okay.
I feel like those are good starting points to figure out what's going to work best.
Was it ratio rule A at the EBUC?
It was the one where you go A, B, A, B, B.
Yeah, that's ratio rule A on the WIFTIF rule.
Right.
So you alternate first points, you alternate, and then it's 2 points each. I've never played that actually. Was it? Was it hard to get
It might have
used
been
to?
the first time. No, actually, if you have a good scorekeeper, a good volunteer that's doing their job and always ready to help out.
And at the beach championships, we always have great volunteers.
Exactly.
They do a fantastic job there.
So not sure about the 6-6 rule. I mean, I would love to try that out as well to see how that works tactics-wise. But definitely all these different ideas.
Eric von Kampen left completely alone as he eventually finds John Dock. John Doherty getting things going back to von Kampen. There's a big shot to Shane Keenan. It's going to be a body underneath, but Shane goes up big. Ireland now trying to put themselves on the board. Shane. Keenan goes up to John Dock, and Ireland score for the first time, 5-1 now.
Well, let's see if this kind of momentum can take Ireland to give Germany a better match, sort of raising up the energy level and make them believe that they can do better than this, better than so far.
5-1 the score. Germany's O-line hasn't been on for a little while, so maybe the Irish can catch them being a bit rusty. It's sometimes hard. I did call a game earlier today, yesterday, sorry. It was France men versus Denmark men, and France men went up 5-0, and the Danes actually came back and won that one. So maybe we'll see a little bit of that coming here again.
Well, that would be some exciting news for the Irish, as I believe the focus this year or at this championship is mostly on the men's and women's divisions.
The men's division, though, not making the top 8, whereas the mixed do.
I would be sorry if it weren't the Czechs who sent them down.
Not sorry at all. Our unbiased commentary here coming from Rachel Toshnarova.
Sorry, not sorry. That's what it is.
Good on the Czechs. They were having a really hard time finding themselves earlier on in this week.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even get a chance to properly watch them, so.
I haven't watched them, but I have seen the scores of their games, and it hasn't been looking like the same team that got bronze at Windmill a couple of weeks ago. But back here into action in this mixed division match between Germany and Ireland. Germany's up 5-1 right now as they come back out on offense for the first time since the first point. Hu Yang dishes it back to Hidinis. Mok. Hu Yang. Germans patiently swinging it around. The Irish trying to slow them down with this zone. We see Spiegel back on the field. Had a good shot a couple points ago. Hu Yang swings it around to Spiegel. Hudenis. There's a big bladey shot to Faraj. Faraj gets it up the field. Nice shot to the side. And Hu Yang walks that one in. The pass from Christian Hedenius for the score.
Not the worst zone defense from the Irish. They had Germany swing the disc back and forth a couple of times in the first third of the field, forcing them to throw back to the middle and then across to the other side of the field. But then one break through the middle sort of broke the entire defense down.
So we talked a bit about how the Germans got here. Can you mention Irish had to play a pre-quarter matchup to get into this spot. The Germans doing well in their power pools, getting to avoid that. What happened in that pre-quarter game, and who were they playing?
So the pre-quarters was against, now I'm really confused. It was, these were yesterday, sorry. Yeah, right. Oh, right. How could I have forgotten the game against Italy? Right, we were gonna stream that. So Ireland beat Italy 11-10, and it was a hotly contested game. There was a spirit timeout, but as we discussed with some of the players, it might have only been a few of the Italian players that couldn't probably bear the thought of not making the quarterfinal. And the rest of the team was actually quite spirited. And I can confirm that, having played against Italy at the beach championship in the mixed division, I feel like it was only some of them.
Pass there from John Doherty going a bit too high for his target, and now Germany have a very short field to work with, and they'll get an immediate score. Number 49, Ronja Rosteinrich gets it to Justin Wallace for another point.
Well, this is what happens when you don't get Doherty deep option. He was going for the open player on the reset, but an unfortunate drop cost the Irish.
The wind picking up here. John Doherty, one of the better throwers in terms of upwind points. He's really happy when he feels that wind. He plays for Rebel from Cork, and they're a team that loves to upset teams in the wind. I still remember at Windmill, I think it was 2013, even ages ago. They played against the club team that I played for the following year, the UFO mixed team. It was the third place European team that year, so very, very strong mixed squad. They beat Rebel 15-2 in Swiss draw. And then Rebel beat them in the quarterfinals because it was a very windy game. UFO was trying to play regular offense.
That's
and
right.
They just had John Dock pinging the disc every which way, winning that game for Rebel side. Now Rebel getting a taste of their own medicine in the Irish Mixed National Championships, though, losing to Rebel 2. And from what I heard, it was a similar story. Rebel 2 knowing how to get that windy game offense and defense going, and Rebel 1 not able to handle their own second team. And what I heard, it was not split squads. It was really a one-person second team. And so Rebel 2 feeling it on the other side of things as Ireland trying to get things going here on this offensive point. Germany coming out with a zone now, seeing a different look.
Strip call, uncontested immediately. Great looks there, open players collecting discs on the sideline, the further sideline. Seems like a junk D by the Germans, or maybe just a regular, no, definitely a junk D. Sort of one mark and a wall behind that.
See now, good movement here, especially between Eric von Kampen and Maeve Ryan. Seem to be two of the main handlers here. Maeve Ryan there with the disc. Now getting in the hands of Andrew McGovern, who puts up a big, tasty scuba for von Kampen. He's able to reel it in. No continuation options, though. The German defense seems a bit out of position right now. They're sticking into their zone. It looked like they were looking for matchups. Von Kampen with a nice, tasty push pass over the top, trying to make it exciting for the fans at home. Swings across to McGovern. Gets it back to the other McGovern. Two McGoverns here on this field.
Good grab. One-handed in the middle of the field.
The McGovern's just tossing the disc.
Germany's still not matching up to person D.
Yeah, a lot of teams try this out. You know, the zone D close to the end zone. I've seen it more and more lately in the last few seasons. There's a shot for the end zone. Not quite in, but the follow-up option is there as the Irish women connect for the score. That was Ailyn Dinian to Maeve Ryan, I believe, there.
And a downwind point for the Irish. The Germans just 1 point away from the halftime. But I believe Ireland had a couple of games where they've been down by a few points. I think a game against Norway was one of those, but eventually came back out strong and finished out by winning 14-7.
The wind picking up stronger and stronger here on field 2, as it wants to do usually in these early afternoon rounds.
Correct. The weather is so unpredictable here. I mean, by the 5th day, you kind of already know. But we've seen change of direction. You know, you're playing on the same field, but suddenly the wind comes from a different side. We have different directions of the field, so teams need to adjust all the time. Adjusting to artificial grass is also quite a challenge sometimes. A little harder on the legs, on the joints. Doherty with the pull.
Germany now looking to take half in a commanding position. If they can get this one, they'll be up quite the lead. Italy trying to come out in the zone. Germany going downwind here, but Ireland opting to still put some pressure on without the person-to-person defense. Germany happy to dump and swing around. There's the big swing. We'll see if that can open things up as Klein gets the disc back to Hedenis. Denius finds the open number 3.
The Irish also sticking with the zone.
There's a high release pass. It's tipped, but still collected. Number 21, Lizzie Garisher, collecting that disc.
That was a great heads up for that high release backhand by the Irish defense. Unfortunately, not enough of a tip to move the disc out of the way of the receiver.
So the Germans take half 8-2 here. If you're the Irish coaches, what are you telling your team to kind of clean things up? What do they need to work on? What's one focus point that they can improve in the second half?
I feel like, number one, they need to get it in their heads that they're in the quarterfinal on purpose, that they've deserved this. They went through the lower pool. They performed as they were supposed to eventually make the quarters. And now they just gotta go for the 30% chance that the underdog wins. And they gotta grab it by the back of whatever the English expression would be. In Czech, I think it's like you gotta grab it by the hair or something.
Sounds
you gotta
better
grab
in
the
Czech.
opportunity by the hair.
Sounds better in Czech, I'm sure, than it does in English. We're gonna take a short break here. We'll be back in 5 minutes of second half action. Germans up 8-2 on the Irish right now here in the quarterfinal rounds of EUC 2019. All right, we're back. Second half action here. Germany versus Ireland. Germany with an 8-2 lead right now. Now, Rachel, you were talking about a phrase, grab it by the hair or something. And
That's
said
right.
it might sound better in Czech. Can you tell us what it sounds like in Czech?
So the Irish right now should chytit příležitost, zapače si. That's what they should be doing right now.
I understand that as much as I understand these Irish last names.
Anyway, we've got great news, Ravi.
Yeah, we had a pre-quarter game between Russia and Belgium men. Can you tell us how that one finished out?
Russia won on Universe.
Wow, good stuff from the Russians there. Elsewhere around the tournament, we see that France mixed have taken half 8-2 against the Danes, so very similar game going on the other side of the quarterfinals.
Right now we see the German coach, Heiko, previously coaching the Polish national team for the World Games in Wrocław, now in charge of this German mixed team who is performing rather well in this quarterfinal.
I think a lot of people weren't counting them to be that strong of a team this year. Not that many huge names on the team, but showing everybody how good they were when they took France to lost them 11-9 in the semifinals at Windmill. And here, taking them to Universe is showing that they might be one of those top 4 teams and might have a sneaky shot to get themselves in the final. Irish now trying to change things up in this game. So far, good stifling pressure by the Germans as they don't really allow too much forward motion here.
Oh, the Irish struggling a little bit. Eventually get it off.
Popping it over the top.
Sideline getting really loud for the German defense.
Seamus Dwyer eventually throwing to no one, but I think there's going to be a foul called on Mutz. The John McMahon saying he fell over due to the contact from Mutz, and uncontested foul, so the disc should stay with McMahon.
Quick, effective discussions. Great communication by both teams.
Disc tapped in by Mutz. Finds Aiden Kelly in the dump space. Around to Keenan. Keenan puts up a big shot. McMahon's underneath it. He has position, but Mutz gets his hand on the disc and just enough pressure. Germany get another D. I'm not even sure that Mutz touched that disc.
That's right. I think McKinnon was sort of had to check his feet. The disc was going down by the sideline.
So maybe a throwing error more than a defense, as that throw looks like it was going to be overshot. But well collected by Erdemann.
And an overthrow by at the far sideline.
I think that was Justin Wallace with the mistake on the German side.
Another chance for Ireland. Setting up in a horizontal stack with 3 handlers back. Germany staying tight, person D.
See downfield that classic diamond cutting pattern, but not finding any of their options here. And that throw just out of the hands of number 64, Seamus Dwyer. Germany go for a big shot to Wallace. He's got defenders underneath, but he comes down with a huge grab. Justin Wallace take a bow, 9-2 the score now for the Germans.
And yet another risky shot pays off. Quick pickup of the disc right after the D. The female handler not afraid to look for the open space, puts it up, and even though the shot's not perfect, the receiver takes it down safely. I want to go back, Ravi, to the German coach. You were saying that the German team, there wasn't much expected of them, not sure what they were going to look like. I think having an experienced coach who knows exactly what he wants from the players and demands discipline and sort of knows how to bring the team together is something that can make a huge difference, even if you don't have any of those big names on the team. Sort of bringing the best out of the, of course, above average, but out of all the players. The one fact that surprises me quite a bit from Germany is that they just seem to be really focused on national teams in general. Do you think that's like a German character trait?
Well, the funny thing about Germany actually is that I've talked to them in previous seasons. They don't care about these tournaments actually.
Oh,
They
really?
have a national team program that goes the whole 4-year cycle. They're not really thinking cycle to cycle. They'll always have national team trainings every month for the whole 4 years, and then they just happen to play the tournaments. So they're always ready. They're not really always gearing up to try and have a result. It's just a different philosophy seeming to work out so far. As here, John Doherty's going to track this disc down, and he goes up big to get an Irish score. But talking back about this German philosophy, I also talked to Heiko Waldorf at Windmill, and he told me he took over this team a bit late. Alan Clement was the coach of the German side in the last few years, and he was unable to continue this year, and so Heiko filled in his shoes. And one of the first training camps he went to, he was talking to the Germans about what their expectations should be, and then he was talking in a way like we're trying to win this EUC, right? And they were all like, "Come on, Heiko, we're a bunch of new players. This isn't our." He's like, "Look, I'm going to spend a lot of time with you guys. I'm not spending time with your team if you guys don't believe you can win.
Exactly.
So I think you guys can win, and if you think you can win, I'll keep doing it. I'll get you there." He's doing a great job so far. They're getting wins against big teams. They're playing close against teams like the French, and looking to be a good team here.
Yep, that's basically what I tried with my Czech women's team, sort of trying to change the mentality to you gotta believe it yourself first. If you want to get there, the skill is there, the hard work is there, the commitment's there, so why shouldn't you win? Fortunately, our way to the final has ended in the pre-quarters.
Yeah, you guys are on the stream, so I'm sure
we
you'll have
got
chances to
three
watch.
three stream games.
I'm sure you'll have
and
chances to watch that one
that's
back
right.
over and over and over
That's
again, or
right.
maybe never again, and try to delete it off YouTube if you can talk to Google.
I've got connections.
You got connections in Google. Here we go, Germany trying to continue their lead right now, up by 6, 9-3. Got things moving. Huyang with the disc against this Irish zone. We do see a lot of female players in Ireland around the disc, putting their male players downfield, maybe trying to get a mismatch. Germany doing good to put a female handler back. That's generally what you want to do against these types of zones. There's a big hammer to Spiegel, and he collects that easily. A little bit of pressure. We see a German player free in the back of the end zone with acres of space, just trying to wave their hands, and eventually she's found for the goal. That's number 3, Verena Becker, with the score. She was open back there for the last 4 or 5 passes. Finally somebody saw her.
I just think it's a little unfortunate for the Irish that they seem like they don't think it's possible for them to put enough of a pressure on the German team with person defense. That way that they got to stick to the zone. And if they only got one type, or they play the similar thing over and over again, there's nothing easier for the Germans than to adjust and eventually work around it. So the limitations on the defense are just not sufficient for a game like this and for a team of this calmness and clinical offense, so to speak.
And what's going on with the wind now, Rachel? It's kind of died down, right? So
exactly.
maybe the zone would be more effective in other conditions, but
That's right.
right now, not really working.
The Irish gods not helping out too much. Well, there's still a chance for some great highlights. Previous point was nicely scored by Doherty, being covered by 2 German defenders, but still taking the disc down. Maybe they can do it again.
So it pulls up now. As the Irish try to calm themselves down, starting off a vertical stack. Dock immediately goes deep. Looks like it was going to come under, but eventually Wallace finds the better read. Dock against Wallace. Wallace gets the D for the Germans.
Well, we saw both players slowing down, sort of trying to figure out what the best positioning would be. Eventually, they both got a hand on it.
Trying to find some scores around.
Oh, a great run through D by number 33 from the Irish team, giving another chance to the Irish. They pick up immediately, center the disc.
Get things going here. They're looking to get that hold. The shot to Dock not working. Eventually Doc getting it on the side, just about inbounds, and Wallace calls him in. The sideline, Germany agrees. Doc puts up a big, tasty flick to the end zone, but that one's eaten up by Tom Druscher.
Not enough open space in that back corner with the Irish line setting up sort of all over the place, not being concise enough to create that open space for that leading pass.
Andrew McGovern in the right space that he could be in, but great closing speed by Druscher. The Germans now get another shot at a break to keep their lead going. We'll give and go by the handlers. Druscher with the disc in hand now after getting that big D. Puts it up to Wallace. Wallace stays in bounds, just about. Then puts up a big shot to Uch. Uch reads it perfectly. And Germany get another score.
That is just misread by the Irish defender. It wasn't a perfect shot, but the German player in a better position to read it. The Irish player sort of looking around to see which way it was turning, and by the time she had that figured out, it was a little too late.
Just look at that toe in by John Doherty. Fortunately, his throwaway after that. And here the big shot from Wallace for the score to Uch. Great field vision and then great reading by Uch. That's not an easy one in the windy conditions as the wind is picking up again. Going from still to windy, teams adjusting. Germany doing the better job of it so far. 11-3. The Germans up in a very commanding lead. Again, France also up very big right now against Denmark. So it looks like those two teams will be advancing to the semifinals. On opposite sides of the brackets, we still have one more quarterfinal round after this. I think we'll be streaming Finland versus Ireland in the women's division after this on this field, and then there'll be another mixed quarter on the other fields.
As long as it stays this windy, I 100% favor Ireland. Having played them in an exciting windy game, they told us that their 3 training camps that they had with the national team were all played in crazy windy conditions.
Aiden Kelly now looks for the backhand hook. He puts it up to Shane Keenan. Shane Keenan gets the better read than Spiegel. Keenan doesn't like the deep look. He's trying to move the mark around now, Ireland. Past half field, looking to get some motion. Aiden Kelly, nice handler movement, also dealing with a bit of injury. Cross-field shot. And then another cross-field shot, sideline to sideline. This one's going to be a bit too low for the Irish. And Germany will get a chance to extend their lead.
Kelly with a nice opening lefty forehand. Those are so useful in these conditions where the defense is counting on a certain throw from the handlers. And with a lefty, you gain an incredible advantage to open up the field.
Lefties shouldn't be allowed to play the sport, that's my opinion. It's always been my opinion, it's cheating.
Actually, it should be all the ultimate players that learn to throw with both hands, Ravi.
Yeah, as long as lefties can't play the sport. That's still, I'm still sounding strong with that. My girlfriend's lefty, so.
So she should stay home, that's what you're saying?
She should not. She actually caught the winning score with the French women's team against GB in the pre-quarter, so she's having a great tournament so far. Shout out to Ingeborg Kaulars. She's probably preparing for her quarterfinal matchup right now. Germans now trying to get things going. Ireland doing a good job forcing Germany into a bit more mistakes. Germans haven't been quite as clinical and clean, but they do have quite the lead. There's a shot in the end zone, and Germany take the lead 12-3 after some magnificent stuff from the Irish, but not enough to get the score.
Well, this is just a tough spot for any team to be. When you do make it to the quarters and you are coming out against a strong opponent, the amount of mental toughness you gotta have to last throughout the tournament and still keep all the confidence and peak state all the way to the quarterfinal. It's an incredible skill that needs to be trained and learned. And this Irish team, this just might have been it for them.
We'll see if they can mount And what many would call an insurmountable lead right now, down 9 points to this German side. I don't really see Germany conceding that many, but the game's not over. We might still see some exciting action, so don't go away just yet.
Exactly, Ravi. That's what I was going to say. You know, now is the time for the highlights.
Now's the time for the highlights.
Just play for the fans, Ireland. We're sure they're certainly there.
I'm going to see if I can open up the YouTube chat of the live stream. So if you want any comments out there, any fans from Ireland, any fans from Germany, feel free to let me know.
Big fakes from Ireland, centering the disc. Moving it in between the handlers. Stuck quite deep.
Eventually finding the inside shot as Ireland moves things up the field. Nice grab. That's another overshot by the Irish. They're just making too many errors here as they put up a shot for a one-pass goal. Droscher extends the lead to 13-3. now.
So 2 more points for Germany to reach the 15-point hard cap. There is a timeout.
Got about 352 people watching the stream right now at home, hoping for an Irish comeback. See what they can do out of this timeout. Try and get some more scores around the fields. The women's scores not really updating, as I know that Italy versus Germany is happening on the other field on the live stream. There should be one other women's quarterfinal. I think it's probably the Switzerland versus Belgium women that are also going on, but we don't see any scores updated on Ultimate Central, so can't keep you abreast of what's going on there.
Quite a surprise for me that the Swiss took the first place in the other power pool.
Yeah, that was a confusing pool. Lots of topsy-turviness in terms of the rankings. GB beating Finland by 1. Then Finland kind of clearing out the rest of the pool, including beating Switzerland, but it was actually a last game against Belgium.
That's right.
Yeah, so
that took them down.
Yeah, so a game that Belgium didn't need to win for anything. They were bottom of the pool anyways. Finland could have earned themselves a free game, but
nope.
The team that didn't need it won. And
that's right.
Maybe that was just the energy they needed to be able to come back in their pre-quarter game, the Belgians.
So basically, in terms of your picks and your predictions, you were saying that the women's division is the most open one, right?
The most competitive division, I think.
All
the quarterfinal games,
right.
All the quarterfinal games are super competitive, and even
some of the pre-quarters, right,
even
Ravi?
some of the pre-quarters. I mean, the one quarter game that I would say is a bit mismatched right now is France-Russia.
Right.
I would have called GB Russia to be a close game, but France beating GB, so maybe I should give more credit to the French. We'll see. Last time they played Russia, they lost by...
Please do. I beat them twice.
You want to have beaten...
Give myself a shout-out. Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Beat them twice, not able to beat the Belgians today,
right,
Rachel.
Right.
I know that's very frustrating to have a team that you've beaten twice finish higher than you.
Hence the reason for all of you who are looking forward to my lovely voice. Not being so lovely today, the long tournament taking its toll. But we're coming back to this game that could be 2 points away from its end, but also could bring some unexpected surprises. Ireland going upwind.
Ireland going upwind. So far not able to connect on any options. The dump completely shut down, over the top throw. Eventually finds the orange-sleeved man. Those bright orange sleeves coming out of Stephen Dawkins. Big shot now for the stream. Shane Keenan trying to read it. There's going to be a lot of bodies underneath, and it's going to be Germany that comes down with the D. And now they're going to try and get themselves within 1 point of a semifinals berth. Spiegel cannot collect that one with the pressure of Eric von Kampen. I think Spiegel maybe trying to argue for a dangerous play, but I think that was just a clean defensive effort. So Ireland now swings it around to Keegan. Keenan with a big put around to Seamus Dwyer. Von Kampen with that face mask with the really weird-looking shovel backhand pass there. Trying to get some style points for the stream. Dawkins finding Boylan. And that's going to be a little too short for Ailm Dineen. God, these Irish names are hard.
And Germans with a timeout. Yet another one. Trying to make sure this break opportunity doesn't slip away. Trying to close this game as early as possible to save up energy for the further stages of the tournament. Maybe I want to talk about a little bit about the German handler defense. There's a German name for it, and I was wondering, Ravi, if you have heard it at the international scene somewhere.
I have not heard about the name of...
Anguka?
That's the first time I've ever heard those syllables put together in what might be a word. Is that a word that you're
That is
saying?
a German word, yeah. It basically comes from the verb angucken, which means that you're only watching.
Well, if you said angucken, then I would have known exactly.
So basically, you're just watching the reset player that you're guarding, not worrying about the disc at all, and that's what the result of that, where those over-the-head passes on the reset. So you're basically not, you're just mirroring your player, not worrying about where the disc is or where it could go. Just staying as tight as possible. Ankuka, if you guys have been missing a name for it.
I have been missing a name for it. I don't know if I'm going to bring that one into the stream.
So from the Irish side, now only the 7 players on the field are trying to figure out the tactics to stop the Germans one more time in an effort to add 1 more point to the scoreboard.
Coming up next on the streams, we're going to have Ireland-Finland women here. You talked about how you favor Ireland in that game. Finland has gotten the better of them the last 2 games. They've been very contentious games with a tough spirit in the end.
Oh, really?
Yes. They Finnish beat the Irish by 2 at Windmill in the quarterfinals, I believe, and they also beat them by 1 here at the EUC both times. And yeah, in both chances, there wasn't quite the most friendly nature between the 2 teams, I would put it that way. So that's kind of why we wanted to put that one on the stream. We were picking games yesterday.
That's right, just to make sure that we can we could go back to all those nasty calls.
Keep some excitement on the camera.
And
Germans
mean faces.
Well, maybe they'll clean their act up when they know they're in front of all the fans here. Big shot for the Germans that's easily collected as number 60, Ida Dumon, with another stat point. 14-3 for the Germans.
And a sweet, sweet point by the Germans. 2 open cutters with separation going into the deep space. And the backhand put up, wait, what was that backhand? Not sure. The deep shot put up beautifully. And this next point will be a game point for both teams.
For one team.
Right.
It's not really a game point for the Irish. They have quite a few more if they want to win this game.
Right.
(14-3) here. Just looking at the mixed bracket. Germany, Ireland, again finishing out here. It's pretty sure that Germany's going to win that game. They'll play the winner of Austria GB, who will be playing after this round. The other side of the bracket, Denmark kind of conceding the game to France, and the French team most likely will be playing the winner of Russia-Sweden. That will be on Fanseat, not on YouTube, so you're going to have the scripture for that. Big shot now up to Doc. Wallace and Doc for another battle. Is Doc going to get the better this time? Wallace in front.
And I felt like there were 2 hands on the disc at the time of the catch.
But did Doc have control of the disc? That's the question. Let's take a look, see what we can see on the replay monitor.
Foul contested.
Let's take a look at what we can see here. The disc is going up. I'm not sure Doc, oh, uncontested foul, so Doherty will keep the disc. Big shot to the end zone. Bodies underneath, and Ireland will not finish it out just yet. 14-4, they make the score. Big catch from the Irish.
Definitely a better sounding score than 15-3. So if Ireland can maybe punch one more in by putting their power line defense on.
Then they'll still need 10 more.
Well, but they can make the score look better. That's always worth it, you know?
Is it?
Yep.
Is it though?
Yep, it is. It is.
We see in the background there the Ulti-League van. I think that's some illegal free advertising. I don't know if they're paying anything for that. Someone should get the tow trucks out here.
So let's add in on that free advertisement. Tell us what it is, Ravi.
Oh, I'm not going to give Ulti-League any free advertising. They should get those guys out of here. They're not paying anything for this stream.
Well,
No.
I'll be really excited if a professional European Ultimate Frisbee League actually happens.
Yeah, they're going to get sued by Fanseat by getting those free advertising. That's going to be the first step for the Ulti-League van.
It's
Hey,
all right.
get that off the camera. Get that off the shot.
I'm an attorney, Ravi.
Not
I can take care of
acceptable.
this. I can definitely take care of
Not
this.
acceptable here.
Come on, another game point in this exciting Irish/German game. Can the Irish put one more score on the scoreboard?
See the Irish putting out in the zone, trying to stop the Germans. Germans' offensive line has been very good. I don't think the Ireland have broken yet this game. So it'll have to be the first time, and they'll have to get 10 more in a row if they want to win this one. Huyang getting things off to Farash. Farash and Huyang dinking and dunking as they find their way through. Huyang taking every other pass.
Doherty baiting the deep shot as much as he can. But the Germans don't want to take it, and a greatest attempt by Mock.
Von Kampen now trying to get Ireland with their first break. He goes for the big blade. Doc's going to be there. Can he make the play? Oh my God, it's in his hands but not collected.
Something for the fans, just what we wanted. Let's keep this rolling. The Irish trying to prove that the zone could be effective against the German offense. They finally managed to get a turnover. Can they get another one? Now 2 girls in the deep space.
Germany, not always the most aggressive team, going for more conservative shots, not want to hit one of those women. They should try and finish it off on a big note, though. An easy score shouldn't count for the win. Huyang now. It's been very steady for this German offensive line. Eventually finding Gerischer.
Right, Germany seems like, oh! And a miscommunication and a block by number 5.
Chu.
Chu.
So now, can Ireland get their first break of the game?
In the red zone, in the red zone. Let us see some more action.
We do see John Doherty going into the dump space. I have an idea that he might want to isolate himself for this pass. Look, working, he really wants it. Oh, the spin move. There it goes, the inside shot's too far. He does not read it well. John Doherty trying to make it exciting for us, but like the spin move anyways. More spin moves, more better.
Oh, and almost a drop by the Germans.
Klein puts up a shot over to Hedenius. Now the Germans very close, and they have wrapped this one up. 15-4, Doherty. Very, very frustrated that he couldn't get any of those shots for the breaks. That'll do it here for this game. Rachel, any final thoughts on how these Germans looked?
Well, it's always great to see a team with practically no big names work really hard and get high in the bracket. It just proves that good coaching is the most important touch a team needs when they need to go far, when they want to go far. So congratulations to Germany on this well-deserved win, and I'll be excited to watch them in the rest of the bracket.
They will be playing the winner of Austria versus GB. GB, the heavy favorites in that game, I would say. So that'll happen tomorrow. Tomorrow's semifinals day. We're going to have every single semifinal streamed. Some of them here on YouTube, some of them on Fanseat. Stick around for that, and that'll wrap things up. For Rachel Toshnarova, I am Ravi Vasudevan. We'll see you next for Finland versus Ireland on this field in the women's division, another quarterfinal matchup.
EUC.TV.